Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about Candida and how to overcome it. This is something that's a big topic for me because I've had it for a long time, and only in the last 6 months I've kind of read the necessary literature, which is probably 10 books worth of information that has helped me actually start the process of getting rid of it. Because there's so much information out there and some of it is not, super accurate, and it really depends on the source. This is a completely natural way, meaning I do not, nor have I taken any supplements. It has taken me about a month and a half to get to a level where I feel that my Candida is no longer like a threat to me. I see myself going forward with treatment for at least another 6 months, and I think it can take up to 2 years. It depends on how spread your Candida is. Mine is pretty serious. But again, there are a lot of things that I'm doing for my health and I have done in the past that actually make it easier for me to get healthy again. I don't take drugs, I don't take antibiotics, and I haven't, like years ago I have. They're probably still in my system. When you take these things, they stay in your body for a long time, and that's what causes problems. Not only does it cause the issue, but it makes it more difficult to get rid of the issue afterwards. So, I mean, really, I do not, traditional medicine for me, I think it's great when, honestly, when you want to do something cosmetic just to psychologically feel better, or it's a life and death situation. Everything else, like if you have a broken bone, for example, also that would be an option. Otherwise, taking pills, it's just not worth the risk. At the end of the day, it's not worth the risk. You're getting rid of the symptom, not the issue. You'll be creating an issue within another part of your body, and then you haven't cured your initial issue. So don't do it. Anyway, so what is Candida? So Candida is basically a yeast overgrowth, and it usually overgrows in your, usually like stomach or the intestines, but really it can be in any part of the GI tract. When you have Candida, the surest way to tell that you have it or you have some sort of an indigestion issue, which usually leads to Candida or is Candida already, is that you have white coating on your tongue. And the thicker it is, the more of an indicator it is that there is food that's not being digested, which means it's fermenting in there. That means the Candida is eating it. You begin to have nutritional imbalances because the Candida is getting to your food before the good bacteria can eat. Well, I mean, the bad bacteria also competes with that, and the bad bacteria can include parasites, which is another thing that kind of comes once there's one problem and it's not addressed. There's other problems that accumulate. So the other two, once the Candida, usually it stays in your GI tract, but if the problem gets bad enough, it gets into your blood, and that's when you have allergens, hidden allergens. So you'll start getting other symptoms like sneezing and coughing, like having issues with, not being able to breathe. Maybe your face is stuffed up, maybe you get colds often. Athlete's food is a big one. That's a sure sign that you have Candida and that has gotten into your bloodstream. Yeast infections are a big one as well, if you continually get them without any good reason to. So most of us in North America, at least, and developed countries, they have this issue because of the common problem causing foods. And really, it's any processed food and alcohol. That's a huge one. So 70% of all people who drink regularly, they usually have Candida. And I think that number rises from the studies that I've read. They estimate that almost everyone has Candida on some level. It's really something that everybody should be aware of, and they should even just take these steps just to kind of be sure that they're getting healthier. Even mild drugs like caffeine, obviously alcohol, any drugs, that causes havoc on your nervous system, which again helps Candida overgrow. Processed sugars and processed food, as I said, simple sugars, that all like the overconsumption, just the North American diet, really it's the sort of diet that helps you get disease. Honestly, if I were to come up with a diet that helps you get disease, that would be it. Now, I have to make a note, Candida isn't necessarily a bad thing, so we shouldn't see it as an evil. Candida, like the yeast that's in your stomach and your large and small intestines, it exists there for a reason. In a very small percentage with the good and the bad bacteria, it's necessary that it is there. It has a job to do. So Candida is kind of the first sign that says, hey, you know, pay attention. I'm here. You know, something's wrong. You're not doing something right. And really, you should be thankful. In the realm of everything, just considering everything, it's a pretty small issue to have. You know, you're not at your deathbed, right? This is a fixable problem. And a fixable problem that you can do is just eating better, just, you know, cutting out the drugs, cutting out the problematic foods, and keeping your emotional balance steady. A lot of it is also, this is how it relates to the nervous system, because the nervous system causes more havoc to your emotions, which means emotionally you become imbalanced, and that can also contribute to Candida. I mean, again, if you're just angry and you're doing everything completely right in terms of your body, in terms of your diet, you're probably not going to get Candida. But if you have a few things already happening, there are some people who are more likely to get Candida than others, and that's usually people who were born to mothers with a weakened immune system. So mothers who already struggled, say, with issues with processed sugar or processed food or drugs, or they consumed a lot of medical drugs. So the other symptoms that you tend to get is that you have chronic fatigue. This is something that I had for a long time, and I just thought I was lazy. It disturbs your sleep cycle. Sometimes you have insomnia, sometimes, you know, you want to oversleep. That again is from the disease. That's not you being a bad person. That's something that's wrong with your body. There's a reason why your body is not functioning as you want to. If you want to get up and do stuff, but you just feel this overwhelming feeling of like, oh, I just can't, and you don't know why you can't. That's Candida. That could be also other things, but a lot of times it is Candida. The other big factor is the poor immune system. So like I said, hidden allergens. So if you get like itchy, your skin gets itchy, you have issues with your stuffiness and sinuses, you get a lot of colds. The number one thing, which I didn't do as a number one thing, but you should, is quit alcohol, because alcohol is processed. Not only is it a toxin and a poison for your body, but it's processed and it's a sugar, basically. It's a sugar that feeds Candida. So you don't want to have that really at all. There's a point where you begin to kind of fool yourself or trick yourself and get back into the same routine. So if you drank for 10 years, for example, and you suddenly want to stop, like for you to get back to your normal self, if it took you 10 years to develop the habit, it'll probably take you 10 years to completely get rid of that habit. The next thing is switching to pretty much a vegan diet and switching to basically not processed food. So vegan and non-processed goes hand in hand. I would even cut out the processed food first. Basically, you want to make a plan for yourself. Say like in 4 months, you want to get to a non-Candida kind of state of body and be ready to address the issue. So first months, quit alcohol, quit maybe coffee or cut it down, quit processed food. Next month, cut out most animal products. Definitely cut out the meat. The meat is very bad. It has a lot of really bad things in it, because the way the animals are treated, that goes into the meat, and the meat goes into us. Next month, try to cut out all dairy, maybe even fish. So any seafood, I mean, some seafood I think is okay, but you know, just for the time being, and it depends on the freshness of the seafood. I'm talking about cutting out processed foods. I'm talking about bread as well. So anything on that level, basically you just want to, just something that you can grab from a garden, whole foods. So you should be focused on eating just whole foods. Having a lot of fresh salads, soups are okay, and smoothies are good. Once you start addressing the problems, you're gonna have a lot of bloating and issues that will come up as your body's trying to cure. So you might actually feel worse for some time, because your body, it starts over time, it starts pushing down symptoms if you're not addressing them. So as you're going back to like kind of curing yourself, those symptoms start to occur again, because once the body starts pushing down the symptoms and you haven't done anything to fix yourself, that means there's some issue that's being created in your body that's even more serious, that's gonna come back to you in like 5-10 years. There are two big steps to what you're trying to do. First, you want to cut the overgrowth, right? So all of those things will help you cut the overgrowth. Candida eats sugar, and sugar comes from alcohol, sugar, even very sweet fruits. There are 4 basic things, well, there's 3 main ones and 1 more that your body breaks the food and drink down to, and that's carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and vitamins. For the purposes of this video, we need to focus on carbohydrates, which are in anything that is very sweet. So on a vegan diet, I'm not talking about all the processed foods because those things you need to cut out anyway. Very sweet fruits have a lot of sugars, which are essentially carbohydrates, and things that are very starchy, such as potatoes, are also broken down into sugars. So those are the things that you want to be avoiding completely at first for some time. You should be having a lot of garlic, a lot of ginger, trufala. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I'm gonna write it down here. So Ayurvedic medicine recommends a lot of herbs. You can actually look that up and that'll help you. Cardamom seeds are actually very good. Apple cider vinegar. If it's a cow milk, yogurt, or kefir, I do not recommend that. There's so much hormones and so much bad stuff in this in the milk that's turned into yogurt that really you're on the one hand helping and on the other you're making it worse. So really it neutralizes the effect. At first you want to be focusing on fresh vegetables and berries, because berries have very little sugar and you still want to have something sweet because your body is just going to be too difficult. Now once you've gone through like a couple of months of this, you should also try to address the problem of parasites, because parasites tend to come up when you have Candida for a long time. The things that you're doing to get rid of Candida is kind of the same thing with the parasites, but they could be causing more havoc, so you have to be aware of that. Once you have gotten Candida to normal levels, the issue that comes up is that your body no longer produces the enzymes that are needed to break down all sorts of food, and that's why you'll often have issues with not only with processed food but even like whole foods that you're eating, such as potatoes and corn and even beans or nut butters, even things that are harder for your body to digest and process. It's harder because your body has stopped producing those enzymes because your body has adjusted to having the Candida, and because Candida always eats first, body it needs to focus on other things. So it's like, okay, so clearly we don't need these enzymes anymore, so we're not going to produce them. So in order to get those enzymes, I did another video on this, you should check it out. I'm gonna put a link to it below. So basically you want to be eating things that help. You'll be getting bloating, and the bloating, it could be from hidden allergens, but it could also, more likely, it is from the fact that there is no enzymes. So your food just stays in the digestive tract. Then your body doesn't know what to do with it because there's not enough Candida for it to eat, and there's no enzymes. Having the fruit that you think will help you is a good idea. So as a dessert, you want to have a mango, or you want to have some papaya. If you're eating protein, for example, you can use a specific fruit that matches. If you say ate something that's dominant in fat, you'll want to have an avocado with it or after, just because it has the fat enzymes, and if you're missing that, it's going to be an issue for your stomach to digest. Once you've gone completely vegan, you're doing all the things that you're supposed to, you're getting the herbs, you'll see a huge difference, and you should see a huge difference if you're actually following all the steps. It takes time for your good bacteria and for your good cells to let your brain know that they want healthy food, because for some time you'll continue craving the bad food because the bad bacteria inside of you is craving it. And this is something that you should be watching out for your whole life, and this is something that you know, again, you need to be adjusting your diet permanently. This is a problem of the way you've been treating your body, and that you need to permanently change the way you treat your body. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep on getting the same issue, and your organs are gonna get more and more worn out the more you do it to yourself. There's no need for our bodies to age at all. There's science that actually proves that. Life is worth it. The one last thing that I want to say, I will do a video on this in a more detailed form, but fasting is another way to help yourself. Now, I don't necessarily recommend it. It really depends on how healthy you are already. If you've never fasted before and you eat a ton of junk food and you drink a ton of alcohol, you need to prepare your body in stages, and that could take, you know, again, 4 months. So if you've prepared your body by taking things in stages and your body has gotten used to it, and you're already vegan, and say then you go on a liquid diet, then your body is not going to take the fasting as a hit, because if you try to fast and you're doing all this bad stuff, you're gonna have really horrible detox symptoms, and that won't necessarily help. You can try it out just to do it for 1 day and see how it is and how bad it is for you. If it's really bad, don't do it. If it's not that bad and you can handle it, then do it once a week, and that'll actually help you. You'd want to fast for like up to a week, 10 days. Once I'm at the stage where I can fast for a few days in a row, I'll make a video and tell you guys. So that's everything. Happy recovering, and I'll see you next time.